There was a historic event just now. A startling statement in the closing statement of the G20 conference sent shockwaves through the world financial system. The G20 has decided to shift international trade settlements from SWIFT, the antiquated interbank messaging system, to blockchain-based infrastructure, according to numerous insiders and an increasing number of stories. Not just any blockchain, though, the XRP ledger in particular. Yes, you heard correctly. The biggest economies in the world, which account for more than 80% of the world's GDP, have formally acknowledged XRP as the cross-border settlement of the future. This is not a pilot program or a test. This is the largest institutional cryptocurrency validation ever. And that simply took place. Now picture the scene. A world leader of the G20 takes the podium. Flags from all the major countries fly behind them. Reporters lean in. Cameras flash and a subtitle appears on the screen throughout a significant portion of their statement. Additionally, the XRP ledger offers the effectiveness and openness needed for contemporary international trade. A title shift is indicated by that sentence alone. For many years, SWIFT has been essential to international trade settlements, which now total more than 38 trillion yearly. However, that time seems to be coming to an end. SWIFT's XX are also in a panic, let's be truthful. For years, the cryptocurrency community has dreamed that XRP will take SWIFT's place. It's the ultimate fast-paced murder mystery, the ideal fusion of Goliath and David. However, it was always a theory until recently. Now it is a policy. Everything changes when the G20 agrees to move financing onto the XRP ledger in 5 years. This is institutional, global, and genuine. Naturally, we must recognize the seriousness of this assertion. A complete G20 support of a particular cryptocurrency ledger is a significant development. It is more than just a positive indication. It is the seismic change of the financial world. SWIFT, which links more than 11,000 financial institutions across more than 200 countries, has been the backbone of international money movement for decades. However, SWIFT has become outdated, slow, costly, and, above all, politicized. The SCUBIF system has been utilized as a sanctioning instrument in recent years, especially in crises involving Iran, Russia, and other countries. Many nations have been actively contemplating alternatives, particularly those in the BRICS alliance. The G20 support for XRP is about sovereignty as much as technology. Now let's move from story to action. Over the last 5 years, Ripple has been acquiring partnerships one after another. Ripple's CBDC technology is being discussed or piloted by dozens of central banks. The on-demand liquidity services offered by Ripple have been investigated or implemented by major financial institutions like Santander, SBI, Bank of America, and others. This is execution, not just chatter. In order to bridge currency gaps across borders without requiring legacy Rails or Nostro or Vostro accounts, Ripple has carefully positioned XRP as the neutral asset. The infrastructure was constructed in a stealthy manner. What the G20 has done is approve of it. However, what actually led to this endorsement? The emergence of digital trade agreements, the geopolitical drive to de-dollarize, and SPIF's growing inefficiency. Countries are fed up with depending on a system that might be abused. They seek an open, neutral, and effective substitute. That's what XRP is. Not a single country owns it. It settles in 3 to 5 seconds, making it quick. Fractions of a cent per transaction makes it inexpensive. Additionally, it is auditable and programmable, which is essential for global compliance. Let's discuss scale. The market for international trade is worth trillions of dollars. The volume of yearly worldwide trade settlements is estimated to be between $30 and $4 trillion. Just think about half of that going through the XRP ledger instead. There would be an enormous demand for real-time settlement, transaction capacity, and liquidity. Most blockchain networks today would be dwarfed by the fee generation alone. Additionally, the amount of XRP that banks, treasuries, and other institutions must hold would increase beyond anything we have ever seen in the cryptocurrency world if XRP is the bridge asset used to settle between currencies. Retail hype isn't the point here. This is the pinnacle of utility. Let's give this some concrete figures. Approximately 5 trillion is processed daily by SEPFT today. Even if XRP were to take 10% of that flow, the daily volume would be 500 billion. To avoid volatility at that volume, XRP's market capitalization would have to increase significantly. Price serves as the balancing mechanism when there is a fixed supply and increasing utility. It is mathematically justified to issue 5,000 worth of XRP based on conservative liquidity predictions. As a fundamental operational necessity for global liquidity management, not as a pipe fantasy. Additionally, keep in mind that obtaining 10% is not the goal of the G20 declaration. It's about completely replacing SWIFT. A 5-year transition period to move trade settlement infrastructure away from the legacy system is specifically mentioned in the proclamation. That means complete adoption, complete replacement. The entire addressable market is in tens of trillions, not billions, if XRP takes over as the sole bridge asset in a global trading ecosystem of this size. The first domino in a global cascade is what we are witnessing here. Other great powers are compelled to follow or risk being left behind once one of them openly supports a crypto settlement layer. This is the macroeconomic equivalent of the network effect. XRP will start to be accumulated by central banks. The infrastructure of financial institutions will be modified. Businesses engaged in international supply chains will incorporate trade finance solutions based on XRP. This will be the norm rather than an option. What is SWIFT's next course of action? SWIFT will, in all likelihood, fade rather than completely disappear. It will turn into email's equivalent of fax machines, which are still functional in theory but unrelated to contemporary operations. SWIFT has attempted to innovate through Global Payments Innovation (GPI). However, even these improvements are cumbersome in comparison to what blockchain natively allows. And the writing is on the wall as the G20 supports a blockchain substitute. Remember that Ripple's legal dispute with the SEC was always about legitimacy rather than securities legislation. The cloud has mostly dissipated. Courts have previously made it clear that XRP is not a security when it is sold on secondary markets. The legal catalyst was that decision. The geopolitical impetus is the G20's support. What about the cost? The market's reaction is that. What comes next then? Anticipate waves of official declarations from trade associations, central banks, and financial ministries. Institutions should start developing XRP custody solutions. Infrastructure suppliers are likely to change course. Above all, anticipate a market repricing of XRP that has never been witnessed before. Use cases are no longer up for debate. The use case has arrived, been approved, and is official. One truth emerges as this new reality takes shape. XRP has evolved beyond a simple cryptocurrency. Today, it is a worldwide financial instrument supported by acceptance rather than hype. Many thanks for listening. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. To be the first to know when I post new stuff, make sure you enable the alerts. I can't wait to see you again in the next video. Be careful.